Once again, welcome back to Crypto Tutorial. On today's video, I'm going to have a look at the charts for today. But firstly, I wanted to thank you once again for joining this live stream and watching my previous videos. So thank you very much for that. And for sure, if you are not subscribed yet and you are liking the content so far, do not forget to hit that subscribe button and even that bell notification to stay up to date about all the videos that will be coming up shortly. So I posted this video about Dogecoin this morning, and what you already saw is that I have a schedule underneath, and that's just something very good to take a look at if you would like to stay up to date. The schedule below is something I would like to follow as most as it possibly can to give you the most accurate information and the most accurate information about when I will be actually having a live stream or uploading videos. So you can take a look down below in the description. You will find the schedule. So let's get started and take a look at Bitcoin. And what are we seeing over here? What is actually happening? I think it's something quite good actually. And that is, as you can see, we have seen a drop. Also, we went back up once we found support on top of this level over here at approximately $33,480. And as I said before, we will be trading during the upcoming days. That's of course my personal opinion, in between these two levels of support and resistance at $33,480 and $42,898. So that's of course something you would like to just take into consideration if you are buying Bitcoin right now, that we will be trading sideways for a while before heading even further back up. And why do I think this? It's especially because lots of big players, lots of long-term holders, lots of institutions and miners are accumulating Bitcoin at this moment, and they do not want Bitcoin to go parabolically towards the upside. They want Bitcoin to stay in between these two lines to accumulate as much Bitcoin as possible on the cheapest price as possible. So that's something. If you are right now just wondering, should I buy Bitcoin? Yes, you should, because as I said before as well during my videos and during this live stream, you're actually not right now at all buying at a bad position. And for sure there are people saying, why are you so bullish? Why do you think Bitcoin won't be heading even further down? That's because I personally think that we saw already the major setback of Bitcoin for this uptrend. We saw this huge momentum towards the downside getting created. We saw Bitcoin almost 56% towards the downside, and I think this is just a major sale tag that is right now on the price action of Bitcoin. And I think you are now able to accumulate 50% more Bitcoin than that you were able previously. So that is for sure something to keep in mind. Let's take a look at the analysis. So we are on the 4-hourly time frame compared to the US dollar, and what I wanted to enable is the EMA ribbon. As you can see, we were rejected multiple times when we tried to break above the EMA ribbon or inside of the EMA ribbon, as you saw over here. Over here, we were multiple times rejected by the EMA ribbon, and even lately, when we were able to break above the EMA ribbon, the EMA ribbon rejected us once again towards the downside. And that's for sure something you would like to take a look at, because what you want to be seeing is something that happened actually in the past as well, and that is when the shorts are actually exhausted, the longs take over the shorts, as we could see over here. You could see over here at approximately the 31 of January, there was a short momentum. There was the EMA ribbon served as overhead resistance, and once we broke above the EMA ribbon, we found support on top of the EMA ribbon, and the longs took over the shorts. A major momentum towards the upside was created, and that happened also as well a few months later, a month later in February, and also it happened over here in March as well. So this is something, of course, of utmost importance to break above the EMA ribbon, especially because we have seen a major downtrend going on right now. But what I think is personally a major level of support and resistance, a key level for sure, is the orange box down below, where we were able to find for the second time support on top. So that's for sure a major level of support where we are currently trading above. And let's take a look a little bit more closely to the EMA ribbon, and what we are actually seeing is that the EMA ribbon right now, we are once again trying to break above the EMA ribbon. And let's take a look if it will be possible to break above the EMA ribbon, find support on top of it, and maybe the longs will take over the shorts eventually. So let's take a look why I personally think that this might be the case for Bitcoin. So by enabling the MACD on the 4-hourly time frame, you can see that we had already a crossover on the MACD over here. There was momentum towards the upside getting created, as we saw right here on the MACD, but right now the lines are not crossing over yet. So it is quite possible that we will still see Bitcoin heading a little bit further up before a crossover takes place. And once the crossover takes place, it is very likely that we will see downward momentum getting created. And as you can see, once there is downward momentum, the price action of Bitcoin also is towards the downside. So the MACD is actually a quite good indicator to tell us what can possibly happen during the upcoming days. And for sure, there can be a double crossover with momentum towards the upside getting created, but I don't think Bitcoin is right now in the position and has enough strength to actually go even further up if or when the MACD crossover will happen. I think that the price action of Bitcoin will be also towards the downside. So right now we still have multiple hours to break above the EMA ribbon. So for the MACD, it's looking strong, but not as strong as it could possibly be. And that is also why I would like to enable the relative strength index. The relative strength index is actually going to show us if we are oversold or overbought once we break above the dotted lines on the upper part or on the lower area of the purple box. And what we are currently seeing is that we are not right in the middle, so it could go either way, towards the up or towards the downside. And also, let's take a look if we are able to spot a bullish or bearish divergence. And the bullish divergence is actually a lower high on the chart and the higher low on the RSI, or instead of a lower low on the chart, a higher high, a lower high on the chart and a lower low on the RSI. But right now you are seeing that the price action is actually not giving us any potential bullish or bearish divergence. So that is for sure something right now that is not giving us the information that we need to actually say which way it's going to go further. Is Bitcoin going to go further up or further towards the downside? And once it breaks above the dotted line, it's very likely that we will see the RSI returning back inside of the purple box or the purple area. And once it does so, the price action of Bitcoin will be also towards the downside, as you saw over here. Once the RSI goes towards the downside, Bitcoin does that as well. So that is for sure a major thing you would like to monitor once we break above the dotted line, either on the upper part or on the lower end of the RSI. But right now it's looking good as it is. So let's take a look at the daily time frame. Let's disable the EMA ribbon. Let's enable the moving averages. Let's zoom in a little bit more closely. And the moving averages, as you can see over here, they're serving as overhead resistance. The red one is the 200-day moving average, the yellow one is the 100-day moving average, and the green one is the 50-day moving average. And what we are seeing is over here that Bitcoin is currently underneath the moving average. And what you need to see before we are able to head even further up is for Bitcoin to find support on top of these moving average, or on top of the yellow, on top of the white line of support and resistance at 40 $42,898. So for sure, a major concern over here right now, because the moving averages as not serving as support, they're actually serving as resistance, and these are major levels of resistance. So it is very likely that if we retest the 200-day moving average, we see a rejection towards the downside getting created, and once again the price action of Bitcoin going further down. So also the NVT, I think it's very important to look at the NVT, because the NVT is actually also telling us if we are right now currently oversold or overbought. And right now Bitcoin is absolutely oversold on the NVT. And for sure, as you could see previously, once you see the NVT creating this wide type of formation on the upper part or even on the lower part, it actually is telling us that there is a major possibility that the trend will be reversed, and that is what we are seeing as well over here. The MVT is telling us that it might be quite possible that we will see momentum towards the upside getting created, but right now on the Bitcoin chart, Bitcoin is holding strong above the level of $33,480, but it still has not made a major move towards the upside to break above the $42,898 where I'm personally looking very forward to when this will actually happen. So let's disable the moving average and let's take a look at what I wanted to show you as well, were actually the volume levels. What you're seeing over here is that the volume actually confirms the trend of Bitcoin. We saw this major downtrend towards the downside. We saw major volume towards the downside as well. So this momentum towards its downside is actually not as weird as it could be, because the volume is actually confirming that the trend was towards the downside instead of towards the upside, especially because we saw a lot of momentum during the sell-off. For sure, right now I think we are reaching the bottom, especially because a 55% correction of Bitcoin is still a healthy pullback, and it is very likely that we will be heading even further up during the upcoming weeks. And let's take a look at the 4-hourly time frame to give us a better data of what could possibly happen. And what I spotted, and some of you might have noticed as well, is this over here. We are forming a type of symmetrical triangle on the Bitcoin price action, and I think that is of utmost importance because if you take a look at this over here, if we select this high, we place the trend line like this, and if we select the body of the candle towards this upper part, you can see that we are forming a type of symmetrical triangle, and symmetrical triangles are patterns that do not break out either towards the up or towards the downside. They tend to break out the way the previous trend was. So you can see that the previous trend before we saw this pattern getting started and created was towards the downside. But for sure, Bitcoin is right now trading above this major level of support at $33,480, and I personally think that it is very likely that we will see Bitcoin once again reversing, heading back up, breaking above the $42,898. But for sure, we are having a lot of trouble, especially with the EMA ribbon, the MACD, and several other indicators that are showing us that Bitcoin could possibly go even further down instead of going even further up. So that's what some people think, but I personally think that won't be happening, because if we take a look at this, we already saw that we broke above the previous trend. Once we went over here, we saw this V-shaped recovery. We broke above the trend, and the trend line is actually the line that I just removed, but I will be placing once again just to give you a better explanation and a better look at this trend reversal, as I personally think that it's taking place right now. So if we place it like this, you can see that multiple times when Bitcoin was going down, the price action of Bitcoin, once it tried to break above this downward sloping resistance line, we were rejected multiple times before being able to break above this downward sloping resistance line and heading back up once again. And yes, for sure, it is possible that we are still waiting for a retest of this downward sloping resistance line before heading even further up. That is what some people might think that will happen, but I personally think that is not an accurate decision, and I do not think that we will be heading even further down. But if we do head even further down, I will be extending this line just a little bit further. 1 second, please. It is quite difficult to measure these. And there you are. And let's measure the possible breakout outside of the symmetrical triangle on the Bitcoin chart. And as you can see, something very important to take into consideration is that on the upward sloping support line of this symmetrical triangle, we already saw 3 touch points on the upward sloping support, and also we already saw 3 touch points on the downward sloping resistance line. And how more touch points a pattern has, how more significant the breakout will be, and how more probable it will be that we will see a breakout either towards the down or upside getting formed out of this pattern. So the possible breakout for Bitcoin would be measured from the beginning, from the beginning of the upward sloping support all the way towards the upside of the downward sloping resistance. And if we take a look at this possible price target, especially if we break out towards the upside, let's say somewhere around the 5th of June, so at approximately 4 days, it could be also possible a little bit later, let's say it will be at approximately the 8th of June, 1 week from now, that we will still get rejected one more time when we try to break out of this downward sloping resistance. We get rejected, we find support on top of this upward sloping support line, and the 4th time, or actually the 5th time we try to break above the downward sloping resistance, we are able to break above it and find support on top of it and breaking all the way up towards the upside. And if this happens, we will see a possible move of Bitcoin getting created of approximately 22%. And this is just a major move that you don't want to be missing out on, especially because if you are leverage trading, you can trade this either way, towards the down or towards the upside. So you can make both ways, you can make money. So that is something very important to take a look at. And what I would be waiting for is a confirmation of Bitcoin breaking above this downward sloping resistance, finding support on top of it. And after that confirmation of Bitcoin, by finding support on this downward sloping resistance, a major breakout towards the upside will be inevitable. And I personally think that a huge trade could be placed at that certain moment. And if you are a leverage trader, or if you are interested in buying Bitcoin at all, down below in the description section you will find this top 4 leverage trading exchanges where you can sign up and earn up to 2,000 deposit bonus on Femex and up to $1,610 deposit bonus on Bybit. And also on Gato you have a very big assortment of different types of cryptocurrencies. You can trade up to 736 different types of cryptocurrencies just on one platform, and I think that's a big advantage. So if you're interested, do not forget to use the link down below, and you will be also supporting the channel by doing so, and it will be highly appreciated. So thank you very much for doing so. And right now, let's take a look at the possible breakout towards the downside. So it still would be a 21% breakout towards the downside, but towards which level are we heading? Oh, I'm sorry, I did not say what the possible price target was. So if we break out towards the upside, the price target would be $45,571 US, and I personally think that we will be going down after a breakout happens, and we will be finding support on top of the $42,898 before heading even further up. But if this breakout towards the upside happens, we will see a higher low getting created, and that's for sure an indicator that we are starting a trend reversal. So this is very important to take a look at. Also, I would like to place a Fibonacci retracement from the very beginning of this bull market all the way towards its all-time high to have even more measurement lines to where it could possibly be heading to. And I will be placing it just at the beginning of, at the end of December at approximately, the middle of December at approximately 16th of December all the way towards its all-time high over here on the 14th of April. And what you can see immediately is if this symmetrical triangle breaks out towards the downside, you will see Bitcoin heading all the way down below the 0.786 Fibonacci retracement level, and for sure that's a very critical level to stay above if Bitcoin would like to see a trend reversal getting started. Otherwise, I personally think that we might see a momentum further towards the downside getting created, and it could go either way. We could see a bear market getting started, or even not getting started, but just proceeding with itself, or we could see a trend reversal once it breaks out towards the upside. And you can take a look, if we break out towards the upside, we won't be only finding support on top of the $42,898 level, we will also finding support on top of the 0.5 Fibonacci level, and that's a major level of support as well. That's for $42,000. So for sure we will be staying on top of the $42,000 if this major breakout occurs. If we break out towards the downside, Bitcoin will be seeing a 21% breakout as well towards the $27,588 level, and that could be a major confirmation that that further downtrend is still in place, especially because we break below this orange box, and this orange box has served as major level of resistance and support previously, as you could see over here, but also it served as a major level of support during the previous weeks, and that's for sure something you would like to stay above, especially if you would like to see a higher Bitcoin price action than where it's currently trading at. For sure, thank you very much for watching this live stream. Once again, I highly appreciate your input, and if you would like to me to watch a particular type of coin, do not forget to place that in the comment section and I will take a look at it. So this was actually my Bitcoin price targets. I personally think that if we are going further down, we will be heading towards the 27,000 or almost $28,000 level, and otherwise we will be heading towards the $42,000 level, and it's a major trade that you do not want to miss out. Either way, if it's towards the upside, you can place a long position, and towards the downside, you can place a short position. So for sure, you can trade this move and this breakout either way. Very, very important to monitor this very closely if you are willing to place a short or long position. And if you want to place your short position, don't forget that you wait until Bitcoin breaks below this upward sloping support, retest this upward sloping support as a resistance, and after that moment it breaks all the way towards the downside. But for sure, I personally think this won't be happening, and I don't want to be trading against the market, because you don't want to be trading against the market. And lots of people are saying right now that the market is currently towards the downside, but I personally think that right now what we are seeing is a almost double bottom type of W pattern getting formed here. And W patterns tend to tell you that you are right now on the end of a trend, and the previous trend was towards the downside, and this could be a possible trend reversal. What we're looking at right now, a type of W-shaped pattern, as you can see over here. So for sure, something very important to take a look at. And that was what I wanted to take a look at on the Bitcoin chart. So people, if you're very interested in actually me looking at one of your portfolio coins, what you are actually holding, just place it in the comments. Otherwise, I will be heading right now towards the XRP chart for all of you. And let's take a look at XRP and what we are currently seeing. So right now, we are taking a look at the XRP compared to the US dollar, but I personally would like to start on the Bitcoin chart. And why I would like to do so is because I placed a Fibonacci retracement, as you can see, from the beginning. Oh no, I placed the Fibonacci retracement with the extensions towards the upside, and I measured this downward momentum. I will be disabling this Fibonacci, especially because you can right now place it more accurate if you place the Fibonacci from its swing high towards its swing low of the past couple of weeks. You will have a better Fibonacci retracement if you do so. And what we are seeing is XRP is trading below this upward sloping support line, previous upward sloping support line. As you can see, it is a level of major significance, especially because you saw many touch points in the past, up to multiple touch points, as you could see over here. And it is of utmost importance for XRP to break above this upward sloping resistance, finding support on top of it before it will be continuing with the previous trend as we saw it, and that was a uptrend for sure. So if we take a closer look at this and we enable the daily time frame and also the moving averages, what we are seeing is that XRP is holding very strong above the 50-day moving average, and that is for sure a very good indicator. It's actually telling us that we still have the 100 and 200-day moving average below us in case XRP breaks even further down towards the downside. It will be finding major levels of support on top of the 100 and 200-day moving average. But currently it's trading above all three moving averages, and I think this is of utmost importance because if we enable also the EMA ribbon, what we are seeing over here is that for the very first time after we broke below the EMA ribbon, we are able to find support on top of it. And this could mean that the EMA ribbon will be giving XRP enough strength to break above this upward sloping resistance, finding support on it and continuing with the previous trend towards the upside. And currently we are at the 0.382 Fibonacci level. It's also a major level where you have to take a look at because this is the golden pocket entry, and I personally think it is a very good entry if you would like to buy at this certain moment, especially because if you take a look at XRP, it is very likely to head further up and trade higher. So just to confirm this theory, I would like to enable the MACD, and what the MACD is actually showing us is something very, very, very interesting, and I personally think extremely bullish, and I'm just very pumped to take a look at this because what we are seeing over here is a crossover on the MACD happening during the upcoming hours, and once this momentum switch happens, we will possibly see momentum towards the upside getting created as we saw previously on the XRP chart. And I think this is of utmost importance. As you could see over here, this momentum actually created a major pump towards the upside of approximately, let's take a look, 99% if I'm correct. It's just a pity that we are not able, no, 199%, so it's a 200% move towards the upside when we saw this previous momentum switch on the daily time frame on the XRP chart. So for sure, very interesting to take a look what is currently happening on the XRP chart. And yes, once again, we broke above this EMA ribbon that is serving as a major level of support currently. And if we see the crossover on the MACD, we will for sure see the price action of XRP or the strength compared to Bitcoin increasing and once again breaking above this upward sloping resistance and finding support on top of it. So this for sure is something you would like to take a look at. And let's take a look at if we are spotting any type of patterns or different type of things on the 4-hourly time frame. So what we are seeing over here as well, just to take a look shortly at the MACD, at the EMA ribbon, very sorry for that, is that the EMA ribbon served as a major level of resistance while the price action of XRP was towards the downside, as you could see over here. And right now, when it tried to break above the EMA ribbon, it was getting rejected by it, and it broke eventually. After the rejection, once again it broke above the EMA ribbon, and it's right now currently trading far above the EMA ribbon. But once it retests the EMA ribbon, the EMA ribbon won't be serving as resistance, but it will be actually serving as support, and that's for sure something very, very good, because the EMA ribbon is actually going to support XRP, and the price action of XRP will be able to stay on top of the EMA ribbon. So this is very good to take a look at as well on the Bitcoin chart, and the moving averages, as I showed you before, are also of utmost importance. But I will be heading towards the US dollar chart, and what I wanted to show you over here is something very, very great. XRP for the second time is right now retesting this orange box, a major level of resistance. As you could see over here, XRP found several times support and resistance. Here it found resistance on the orange box. Here it was able to find support inside of the orange box. Over here, before it went below the orange box, it served as a major level of support, and currently it already got rejected twice by the orange box, and it's currently trading for the second time almost inside of the orange box, but actually a little bit below it on the price action. So this is for sure something very important, because if XRP is able to break above the orange box, I personally think that we will be seeing XRP trading in between these two levels, in between the two major levels of support and resistance, and in between these two orange boxes that I draw. And that is approximately in between the $1.10 and the $1.55. So for sure, I want XRP to pump even higher and getting above the orange box where it's currently trading underneath, and finding support on top of the $1.10 level. For sure, very interesting to take a look at the price action of XRP. But what we are also seeing here is this pattern getting formed. It's actually a W after a major downtrend, and this W is actually very interesting to take a look at, because if we place a trend line on the neckline of this W structure at, let's say, over here, if XRP is able to break out towards the upside, outside of this W structure, creating a trend reversal, we will be seeing a major move towards the upside getting created. And that move could be looking something like this. And that would be a potential move of up to, let's take a look, 34%. So this 34% move could go all the way up, and we could be seeing XRP trading once again at the $1.42 level. Personally, I think if this actually happens, we will see as well that the price action after this major pump of XRP going down below and finding support on top of this level before heading even further down or further up. It depends a lot on what the Bitcoin price action is going to do as well. But let's say the Bitcoin price action is going down. Then I personally think that we will see once again XRP going all the way down, finding support on the $0.70, and that would be for sure very shocking to take a look at, because it could possibly mean that XRP will be heading even further down during the upcoming weeks. And for sure, that's not something I'm personally waiting for, and I don't think a lot of XRP holders are. So possible move of 34%, as I told you, towards the $1.42 on the XRP chart. And let's take a look at the EMA ribbon over here instead of on the Bitcoin chart. And what we are seeing here is, yes, once again, as we saw as well on the Bitcoin daily chart, XRP is able, for the very first time, to break above the EMA ribbon, finding support on top of it, but over here we are seeing even something more significant going on. The EMA ribbon indicators are crossing themselves, and once they cross themselves, it's very likely that we will see the longs taking over the shorts, and that will create an upward momentum towards the upside and a possible move for XRP towards the $1.42 target. So for sure, I'm waiting for this. And also, if XRP is going down during the next couple of hours, I'm personally hoping that it will be finding support on top of the EMA ribbon for the very first time after a long period of time. So for sure, very interesting what the price action of XRP is going to do compared to the EMA ribbon. And also, I would like to enable the RSI, because if we take a look at the RSI, what we're seeing over here is that we were not even above the dotted line. So it was still at a high point. It was almost oversold. That's also why we saw a lot of major price action towards the upside, but right now it is trading towards the downside, but it's still inside of the purple area. And once it's inside of the purple area, it could still trade in between, and that would mean that also the price action of XRP would be still sideways. Also, let's take a look if we are spotting any type of bullish or bearish divergence, and right now we are not seeing any type of bullish or bearish divergence on the RSI. So that's for sure something that is fine for now, but eventually I would like to see a bullish divergence to confirm this breakout of this XRP pattern during the upcoming days. So that's very good to take a look at what XRP will doing, and I really hope you are enjoying the content so far. If you're doing so, don't forget to leave a comment down below in the comment section. I will be highly appreciated if you do so, and if you give me a thumbs up on this video, I would be as well really pumped. So thank you very much for doing so. Also, what could we possibly be seeing here as well? Let's say this isn't a W structure. Let's say this is a ascending triangle instead of a W that's getting formed, or a double bottom as they are as well known. Let's say this ascending triangle is getting formed. An ascending triangle is a pattern that tends to break out towards the upside, especially when the momentum previous to this pattern is towards the upside as well. Unfortunately, the previous momentum right now is towards the downside, so it could be very likely that we will see a breakout towards the downside outside of this ascending triangle. But still, ascending triangles most of the time break out towards the upside, and that's personally why I will be measuring why I think as well that this 33% move towards the upside for sure towards the $1.42 level will be happening. Maybe not right now, but maybe after we once again retest this ascending support line and break out of this horizontal level of resistance, find support on top of it, and after that we see this major move towards the upside getting created all the way towards the $1.42 level. So for sure, very interesting to take a look at what XRP will doing, and most importantly, as we saw on the Bitcoin daily chart, a very interesting MACD momentum switch is taking place right now, and this could possibly mean that we will see XRP exponentially going towards the upside and seeing that 33% move. And if you do not want to miss out on this very spectacular trading opportunity, don't forget that down below in the description section you will find the top 4 leverage trading exchanges where you can earn up to $2,000 deposit bonus on Femex, and also you can trade up to 736 different types of cryptocurrencies on the Gate.io platform. So if you're using the link down below, you will be also helping this channel growing even further. So thank you very much for doing so if you're interested. And right now, before heading towards a different coin, I would like to discuss some news. And if you would like me to discuss a coin that you are holding or a coin that you are very interested in, don't forget to leave that in the comment section. So I will take a look at it. Let's take a look at this major article. It's about Bitcoin raising popularity will lead to more regulation, says Riskbank. So Riskbank Governor Ingves, I'm sorry, I'm very bad at pronouncing names that I do not know, said there's good reason to believe that more regulatory oversight of cryptocurrencies is in the pipeline. Cryptocurrencies' persist growth over more mainstream adoption are keeping international monetary authorities on their toes. In fresh comments this week, Stefan Ingves, the governor of Riskbank, Sweden's central bank, said that digital assets' rising popularity raises the stakes for regulators, central bankers, and lawmakers worldwide. So this is a quote he personally said. When something gets big enough, things like consumer interest and money laundering come into play. So there's good reason to believe that regulation will happen. So yes, Bitcoin is always meant to be to actually surpass and not have anything to do with the current market structure of banks and lawmakers and policymakers, and especially it's meant to be decentralized without a authority that regulates it all. So it's very difficult for Bitcoin, and for sure this article has a lot to think about, and that's why I wanted to show you this article as well. It's because I personally think it is quite controversial to talk about regulations on Bitcoin, especially when Bitcoin is always meant to be a not regulated place by government and lawmakers. So for sure, I'm not very pumped about this news of Riskbank saying that it will lead eventually to more regulations. And yes, this article just goes on about what the supervision would be and how they would like to actually regulate cryptocurrencies, or what they are planning to do. And that's why I would like to read just the very last part. So in Sweden, Asa Lindhage, the Minister of Financial Markets, has said that the government is already engaged in strengthening regulatory standards for cryptocurrency exchanges. Various crypto regulatory approaches remain, she says, a work in progress at the international level. Inks has himself remarked that cryptocurrency regulations will probably come at different times in different areas. Yet, when it comes to the very important issue of money laundering, Lindhage pointed to the need for cross-border coordination between regulators. So yeah, let's recap. For sure, it is very important that money laundering won't be taking place in the current market space of the cryptocurrency market. But money laundering is also right now taking place in the institutions that are saying for decades that money laundering shouldn't be there, and they are not able to stop those money laundering schemes, and still they're pointing fingers towards Bitcoin that is actually doing quite a good job, because you know that you're able to transfer, but all the data on each transfer on each blockchain is actually as a spreadsheet that adds more data, so you can actually take a look at where Bitcoin has been before. So I personally think that money laundering eventually, if you take a good look at it, won't be possible if there are certain laws being made, especially for blockchain types of currencies like cryptocurrencies, you know. But I don't think the coordination, especially from one particular country or from several countries, won't be actually helping Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies to become healthier, because they are meant to be self-regulated and not regulated by an authority. So as regulators mull how to approach the phenomenon on decentralized crypto assets, the Swedish central bank is meanwhile making headway with its development of a central bank digital currency, the e-krona. Its proof of concept uses Corda, a distributed ledger technology solution from R3, Ingves has previously indicated that currency could be operational within 5 years. For sure, this is very interesting for countries that would like to invest in cryptocurrencies and eventually would like to, well, pay and use them as a payment method. But for Bitcoin and for the overall cryptocurrency space, the regulations shouldn't be as they were previously, because then the only thing that we would be doing is placing the current banking system inside of a new shell. And that is not what Bitcoin is meant to be, or what cryptocurrencies are meant to be. They are meant to be decentralized and actually not regulated by an authority or by one specific goal. So for sure, I'm not quite pumped about this news, but I can understand that for the countries, a controlled and a controlled cryptocurrency will be there in the future. And I understand that for, especially for countries, it needs to be controlled to be able to maintain money laundering. But let's take a look at what we are seeing over here. And if someone would like me to take a look at one specific type of cryptocurrency, don't hesitate to ask. Otherwise, I will be showing you the Binance coin chart, and what we are seeing here is the Binance compared to the US dollar. But let's start at the Binance compared to Bitcoin chart. Binance compared to Bitcoin chart on the daily time frame, we are seeing over here, if we draw this line, also a ascending triangle getting created. And yes, right now this triangle is getting formed on the daily time frame, and on the daily time frame, patterns are always of utmost significant, and for sure more significant than patterns on the 4 hourly, 2 hourly, or any type of time frame below this. So this is a very important pattern, especially because it's an ascending triangle. I personally think it will be able to break towards the upside if Bitcoin is also continuing with momentum towards the upside. For sure, if Bitcoin will have a major crash in its price action, we will see all types of cryptocurrencies suffering once again. But I personally think we reached the ultimate bottom on Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is right now currently just accumulating before it will be growing exponentially towards the upside. And also, if we take a look at the on-chain data, unfortunately, I wasn't well prepared and I do not have Glassnode open right now. I could have shown you the on-chain data. That's actually telling us that the long-term holders, miners, are actually accumulating Bitcoin at this moment. And they are accumulating it slowly, as I told you before during this live stream, because they want to accumulate as much as possible, as cheap as possible. And if you are right now still wondering, should I buy Bitcoin? Yes, you should, because that's exactly what I'm doing and what big companies are doing as well. So do not hesitate and go and buy that fear, and do not buy the greed, buy the fear. So let's take a look at Binance token, or Binance coin, and the RSI. On the RSI of Binance, we are seeing right now, currently compared to Bitcoin, nothing very pumping happening right now. We saw this, the same type of high at the same price on the price action, and we saw a lower high on the RSI. Still, if this was a higher high, it would have been a bearish divergence, but this did not went even further above the previous high. So that's personally why I think right now we are not seeing something very informative right now on the RSI. And for sure, once we break above or underneath the dotted lines, we will see the price action towards the upside or towards the downside getting created. But currently we are in the middle of the purple area, and it could be going either way if we take a look just at the RSI. But also we have to enable the MACD, and what the MACD is telling us is this very, very important crossover that will be actually happening in just the upcoming hours. If you ask me, for sure we will be seeing this major momentum switch, and it's actually of utmost importance to take a look when we saw for the very last time a momentum switch taking place, and that was actually at the 5th of May of 2021. So it's almost 1 month ago when we saw a momentum switch on the daily time frame on the Binance coin chart. And before that, on the 30th of March, we saw as well a momentum switch getting created. But this time it was momentum towards the upside. And once this happened, we saw this major pump towards the upside getting created afterwards. And for sure, after this crossover, right now, we will see BNB heading back up, breaking above this horizontal level of resistance. And the momentum will be also showing a big, huge move towards the upside getting created. But this move will be a potential move of, let's measure this move to take a good look at it. This will be a possible move towards the upside of approximately, 1 second please, a little bit of drums as well, 22%. So it's a major move towards the upside. And yes, what I'm personally waiting for is for this trading opportunity, because this is a grand possible trading opportunity, especially because the MACD is also supporting, and not just only the MACD. If we enable the EMA ribbon, it is actually very likely that if we break above this horizontal level of resistance, find support on top of it, we'll be also finding support on top of the EMA ribbon as we see over here. And once we do so, a major move towards the upside will be inevitable, and I think it will be possibly this 22% move towards the upside that we're seeing over here, and that Binance coin will be heading all the way towards the 0.01 Bitcoin. And for sure, on the price action of on the strength compared to Bitcoin, this would be a major move towards the upside. And when this happens, the price action of BNB will be also for sure going towards the upside. So that is what I wanted to show you on the BNB chart. Also, this major moment right now that we are struggling to go above the moving averages, above the EMA ribbon, but for sure the MACD that will be giving a lot of momentum towards the upside once we see this crossover during the upcoming hours happening and taking place. So lastly, I wanted to enable the moving averages on the daily time frame compared to Bitcoin. And what we're seeing is that we are underneath the 50-day moving average. Also, we found support on top of the 100-day moving average after this major price action towards the downside. We saw that we found support on top of the 100-day moving average, and that is also for sure why I personally think that if we break out towards the downside instead of towards the upside, I don't think that is very likely to happen, but if this happens, we will be supported by the 100-day moving average once more at approximately 0.07 Bitcoin. For sure, very important to take a look at, and if we are not supported by the 100-day moving average, possibly we will be supported by the 200-day moving average eventually. I don't think it will be such a deep correction and a deep move, but if it happens, there are still a lot of levels of support that will be helping Binance coin to stay above these levels where it's currently trading at. So for sure, I'm personally waiting for this 22% move towards the upside getting created compared to Bitcoin. And after that, the price action of Binance coin compared to the US dollar will for sure be towards the upside, and I'm personally waiting for it to happen. So on the daily time frame, we are seeing over here once again, we are finding support on top of the 200-day moving average on the US dollar chart. We are currently underneath the 100-day moving average, finding overhead resistance. But if we break outside of this symmetrical triangle that I have already drawn, we will see that major move towards the upside getting created. And that major move is something I would like to measure just in a couple of moments after I enable the EMA ribbon. And yes, right over here, the EMA ribbon is not looking as strong as it looked on the Bitcoin chart. It is serving as overhead resistance. But once the strength compared to Bitcoin increases, we will be having enough momentum to break above this EMA ribbon that is providing us of major level of resistance currently. So over here, we are seeing Binance Coin struggling with a lot of overhead resistance. But as we saw before, compared to Bitcoin, it's really holding strong. So for sure, something very interesting to take a look at. And let's take a look at the 4-hourly time frame. Let's enable the EMA ribbon there as well. And let's enable the RSI as well before heading further. And on the 4-hourly time frame, you're already seeing that for the very first time on the 4-hourly time frame, Binance Coin was able to break inside of the EMA ribbon and did not get rejected as we saw previously over here. Binance Coin was multiple times got rejected by the EMA ribbon, and it's currently for the very first time above of the EMA ribbon, and the EMA ribbon is actually even switching its lines, and when the EMA ribbon does so, it is very likely that the longs will be taking over the shorts and that we will see upward momentum towards the upside getting created. So for sure, something you would like to keep monitoring very closely, because this move is a potential move before tomorrow or tomorrow. So I will be monitoring it for sure, but you should be doing it as well, because you don't want to miss out. Once it breaks above this downward sloping resistance, find support on top of it, we will be seeing this major move that I will be measuring just right now, right away. I will be measuring this move for you. And this is that potential move, that big move towards the upside on the Binance Coin chart towards the level of approximately $518. And for sure, I think this is a major level of resistance at the orange box. It could be possible that we will be rejected at approximately $500, but if we break above it, I personally think we will be for sure finding support on top of the $500 level and trading in between the orange box just for a while. For sure, this move, I'm personally waiting for this confirmation over here when the chart breaks out above the downward sloping resistance and finds support on top of it. So that's something very interesting to take a look at, and something I'm personally waiting for. And I went a few steps back just to select this once again. And if you break out towards the downside, you will be heading towards the $200 level. And I personally think we will be supported inside of the orange box, especially because if you take a look at previous data, the orange box serves as a major level of support and resistance. And I personally think that will be very helpful once it breaks out towards the downside for sure. So this level over here is a major level of support if BNB breaks towards the downside instead of towards the upside. But as we saw on the Bitcoin chart, that huge momentum switch on the MACD, and also right now we're taking a look at this and we are seeing here as well as a symmetrical triangle being created on the Bitcoin chart. We saw an ascending triangle being created. All these indicators are telling me that we will for sure see a breakout either towards the up or towards the downside. I personally think it is going up, but if you're thinking it is going down and you don't want to miss out on that possible short trade, don't forget that once it breaks below this upward sloping support and it retests its support as resistance and it gets rejected and it drops all the way down, you would like to place your entry for a short trade at approximately $333. So for sure, you do not want to miss out if you think it is going further down. For sure, that's not what I personally think, but if you think it is going down, you should not wait for this major opportunity to earn a lot of money by placing a small leverage for sure on this trade. Especially right now, I'm not trading with big amounts of leverage because the market is very volatile at this moment. And if you are interested in trading any type of cryptocurrency, do not forget that down below in the description you will find several links to sign yourself up to different different exchanges where you're able to trade any type of cryptocurrency. Or for sure, a lot of cryptocurrencies at this moment. So that's something very interesting to take a look at. And if you do so by using the link down below, you will be supporting the channel as well. So further, I wanted to enable something very interesting, and that is the relative strength index. And what we are seeing over here on the relative strength index is nothing very interesting for this current moment. We are seeing that BNB is currently inside of the purple area, and it's actually on the lowest part of the purple area. And this is actually very good, because if XRP, we see that momentum switch on the daily time frame compared to Bitcoin towards the upside getting created, it still has a lot of space on the RSI to break above the dotted line and afterwards eventually drop back. But this amount of space over here gives BNB an off breathing area to be able to see that pump towards the upside getting created. And as you could see over here, a possible breakout towards the downside will be less significant because the dotted line is already very near, and the dotted line on the upper area is still a far way from where it's currently at on the RSI. This for sure, the relative strength index is also telling us that it is more likely to break out towards the upside instead of towards the downside. And if we break out all the way up towards the $515 level, I personally think that we will be finding support inside of the orange box in between the $500 and $533 before heading even further up. Once again, thank you very much for watching this live stream. If you are liking this content, do not forget to give me a thumbs up, and do not forget, if you would like me to discuss a particular coin, to place that down below in the comments. So I only trade up. Yeah, XRP. So let's take a look at the chat. Welcome Melvin Koopmans. Welcome Mike. Aquapic is about to fake off. Only 1.5 million market cap. I do not know Aquapic, so I must say I do not know. And we also have Willicam. It's the opposite. So I must say I'm very, very, very grateful for all of you guys watching this live stream. I thank you very much. I hope you really enjoyed the content so far. And right now, I must say that I will be ending this live stream, and I really hope you appreciated this content. And if you did so, do not forget to hit that subscribe button down below and even the bell notification. So once again, thank you very much, and don't forget to look at the schedule if you would like to stay up to date about the upcoming uploads and live streams during the upcoming week. So bye bye and have a nice day, and also do not forget to pick up that trade. Bye bye.